Today I'm talking with Jo Ryan, who's a parent consultant from Baby Bliss, about how to introduce a new baby to your family. Jo, what do you do when you've got that new baby and you're bringing it home, and up until then you've had one other child and they've been your world?
Well, it can be tricky. The best idea is to start before you've had a child. So, but not too early, because younger children really don't grasp the concept of mummy's got a baby in their tummy. They just don't understand that at all. And also things like saying, you're going to have a little brother and sister. I mean, often small children will think, well, what now? They don't understand that it's going to come in 6 months or 9 months' time. So I sort of recommend that people tell them about 6 weeks beforehand, or if they ask questions about why is your tummy getting bigger, then you can talk to them about it. But don't make it too complicated. Just, give them the facts, and that's sort of it. Then closer to the time, you can talk about the baby and how they're going to be, in the house, and get the child used to being around other children. So you can go to friends who have other children, get them used to group playing, join them up in a sort of mother's group or a play group, that sort of thing. If they haven't had much interaction with other children, that's a really good way to do it. It's also a good idea to let them see you as the mother playing with other children. So when your friends are around, or your sisters or brothers with children, let them see that you can pick up a child, but you're still going to be there for them, and it's not a huge competition type thing.
I have a friend and they just had a baby, and they have a 1-year-old. And what they did, instead of giving him his Christmas present at the time, they actually waited until the baby came, which was in January, and they got the baby to give the present to the toddler.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Make a big fuss about how the new baby will bring you a present. And even if it's not around Christmas or their birthday, they can get a special present from the baby when that baby's born. So the child often will then be so excited about this new baby that they'll love it, rather than feel that it's some sort of competition. It's also important that when in preparation for you being away from that child, when you're in hospital with the new baby, have some time so that you can leave the child with whoever's going to be looking after him or her when you're in the hospital. So if it's the father or grandparents, make sure that they get used to, when mummy's got to have the baby, you're going to be staying with grandma, so that they have a couple of times staying with grandma or whoever it is before you have the baby, so it's not such a huge shock. You can also say things to the child, like if it's difficult for you to pick that baby up, the older baby up, while you're pregnant, say things like, when I have this baby, I'm going to give you the biggest hug in the world. And make sure that when that child comes to visit you in the hospital, that you put the baby down and you do that to the child and give them a big hug and say, see, I promised you I would do it, and here I am doing it. So that, they feel reassured. But it should be a nice time, for the child. It's important to make them feel special as well as the new baby. So try and make time out of your busy day to have at least half an hour, 20 minutes with the older sibling, just one-on-one. So rather than you saying, I can't do that now, I'm looking after the baby, or I have to feed the baby, or the baby's crying, when you know that that baby's going to be asleep, try and give yourself sort of undivided attention to the older child, so they don't feel like they're always missing out.
And competing, I suppose.
That's exactly right.
Well, thank you, Jo. If you'd like to ask Jo any more questions, you can contact her on the email address below.